How are you, bro?
Great, man. Thanks for the time. Wanting to get into the new band and the tunes and the album and the show and everything.
Let's
But
do it.
let's dig into it, man. I guess everything kind of starts with the riffs, and I imagine that's kind of where it started. You hooking up with Morgoth and getting some riffs going, and then was Taylor the next ingredient?
No, actually, he was the next ingredient. We got the drummer Josh because he played with Morgoth in Winds of Plague, so we knew who the drummer was going to be. The dude's talented as hell. It's not about just the talent for me; it's also about the energy and the vibe. I wanted to put great, fun, talented people around me, and Taylor came in. I mean, I said this in another interview. I feel like this band's been a puzzle that I didn't know needed pieces, and I didn't have the pieces, and the pieces came at me at certain times when I wasn't even looking, and they just fit, and I would just place them. It was a natural placing of the pieces. It wasn't like, oh, where do they go? No, they just there it is. It's one spot, and that's where they go. Alejandro was the surprise.
Yeah, that's kind of the odd piece in the
Yeah,
bunch.
which is amazing though, because I just needed a lead guitar player. I didn't Taylor could sing like a canary and angelic voice at the same time can growl like a beast. So he's like heaven and hell for me, right?
Yeah,
And so he's got it all. And then I was like, I don't need another singer. I just need a really good guitar player. So I saw him shred and I was like, this kid's badass, right? It's so funny because Morgoth was telling me about him and I didn't know who he was. And I was like, American Idol, come on, man, I don't want that. It's a different persona, you know what I mean?
sure.
But I ain't against any of it.
Right.
And then when I met him, I was like, no, where he showed me a picture of him, and I go, bro, I know this kid. I've been seeing him online, and I think he's badass. I was like, that's Alejandro. I'm like, bring him on. So what happened was he joined as a guitar player, even though when we wrote the music, I was writing and recording at the same time. So I played all the bass and like 97% of all the guitar.
Okay.
Uh, on the record is me and Morgoth, like me playing and Morgoth and on the board, programming beats, just like preliminary stuff, you know what I mean, for the
Sure.
drummer to take and do his thing with.
Template.
And so, yeah, and so when the vocal sessions began last October, we flew in Taylor, who now lives in LA, but back then he was in Atlanta,
Hmm.
Georgia. And he flew in, and Alejandro came along as well because Alejandro is a great lyric and vocal writer, melody writer. And so he came in to help. And it was crazy because dude just fit. I didn't know how great it was going to happen. And he just did his thing without really planning, and their album became the album. And the one thing is, you've only heard two songs, so it's hard to explain because you've heard like a very heavy track, and then you've heard like the complete opposite. If you didn't know it was the same band, you wouldn't know it was the same
Right.
band, right? You would never
Right.
tell, right? You would be like,
Sure.
that's not the same band. I said, okay, that's a good song. It's a good whatever. It's totally different genre. And but I feel like the album will tie all that together. I We wrote an album. We didn't write song by song. It's like we wrote a lot of songs, and then I we had like 18,
Oh
and I
wow.
took 11 that fit well together as a group. So I really can't wait till October 11th for everyone to listen to the record as a whole and get what I did and what we did. There's a method to the madness of like, why is Radiance so fucking crazy? Oops, could I cuss?
Bah, I mean, you can, but try not to.
My bad.
All
I
good.
wish I knew earlier. I would have myself. I would have censored myself. So you would understand why Radiance is on the record, like why we also have songs like that. Personally, I love both in different ways, and
Sure.
there's so much more that you haven't heard that's different. That's like unlike any other band. I think Radiance sounds kind of like it fits the mold of what's going on in rock,
Yeah.
pretty and whatever. And then Paradise is also something that fits the mold of rock. I think there's songs in there that you'll be like, there's a song named Abandoned that I've never heard a band do anything like that. There's
Whoa.
a song called Sunrise that I think is going to be a sleeper hit because it ain't commercial, but it's one of those things that you make, it's not a commercial thing, but you make it commercial because it's so different and people will understand it once it's out. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward for us to hear the entire thing, bro.
Yeah, me too. And a couple of questions on that. We had chatted last year around 420 time, and you had mentioned it to me at that point that there was a tune on your solo album coming from Jonathan Davis pitching in on
Yeah,
vocals. Is
okay,
that on the
here's
album?
where, yeah, no, because actually the song he was going to be on was Paradise.
Ah,
Here's what happened. When we wrote the record musically, the idea instrumentally, the idea was to have features on every song.
okay,
And so we were gonna, I was talking to John, I was talking to Serge, I was talking to a lot of people, right?
sure.
And then when this it started developing, we started writing more and more songs. I was like, man, I want to take this on the road. And my manager said, man, this is great. You need to take this on the road. He totally said what I was thinking. But he said, how are you gonna do it on the road if you freaking have all these
Yeah,
features? You're
vocals.
not gonna
Yeah,
be able to take this on the road. It's just gonna be a record people listen to and say, cool, and then next,
right.
Um, so that's when it changed. And I said, I need a singer and I need, to be able to have that singer go out on the road with me. So it doesn't sound like a new guy is doing the parts of all these other guys. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But on the next record, we will bring in features. We have a few songs with some features on there that we left out of this record because
Hmm,
I wanted the band to stand on its own 2 feet and do its thing, without having features help the band.
sure.
And then on the second record, we'll just do our thing and have the features do their thing. I love the people that are singing along and coming in, and the people that will be coming in and lending a hand to the tracks. But I feel like it's better up for a second sophomore than
Yeah.
uh, than a freshman.
I
Right?
totally get that philosophy. It just seems like everybody and their mother nowadays has a feature on.
Feature. That's what sells records now. Not sells.
It's
That's
a
what
thing.
gets streams going. Like I
Yeah.
was even told, like on the 11th hour, okay, um, we're gonna get better streams if we have a feature. Can we put a feature on the record? I'm like, no, man. There's a reason why we don't have a feature. It's okay. I'm not trying to get this to be a platinum record right away.
Right.
Just because I'm the dude from System of a Down doesn't mean everyone's gonna go right away buy the record
No.
or listen to the record. It's gonna take some time, and it's okay. We have time. I'm not rushing this. I want to enjoy the process of what I did 30 years ago with System. I'm kind of
Yeah.
it keeps me young. I'm with a bunch of youngins, and it feels good to be. I'm gonna be doing shows again, like at the whiskey and stuff. So I can't wait for that. Like that's like something I can't do with System anymore. I can, but we don't. Like we can, but we don't. So I can't wait to do it.
Well, I'm looking forward to the debut album coming out on October the 11th, and then just a few days later, or a day later, you're going to be at the Mayhem Festival debut concert ever, and I'm sure you're practicing and rehearsing and everything. But the one bit of advice I'm going to give you: sunscreen. You haven't had to wear sunscreen on stage in forever.
For a bit. Yeah, I'll be doing that
Yeah,
October
October.
12th. Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
And playing during the day and debut show.
Yeah. We were. I was thinking about doing some other shows early on, just so like we get our, little practice of like playing in front of people.
Yeah.
Then I thought to myself, it's kind of cool just playing a big festival for the first time ever together. Why not make that the thing? And so we're doing it. Yeah, we're gonna do that, and we'll have some shows after. There's a couple of things we're booked on that I'm still not allowed to talk about, but I will let you know ASAP. There's some huge things not in America,
Mm.
but we'll be coming. Yeah, and then right after we'll be coming here and doing some stuff. So we're gonna have fun with this. You know what I mean? I don't have any boundaries with it. Like, let's go. I'll play the smallest place and the biggest place.
Looking forward to it, man. And the really cool thing about Mayhem Festival coming back and just a metal festival coming back, which is great, is this one especially lots of female artists on this bill. I mean, looking at Kitty, Poppy, with Ginger with Tatiana, really cool to see, especially from the early days of System to now, so many women in metal.
It's very cool, man. And we know the girls from Kitty. They were it was like puppies when we started. They were just like these young girls that were so cool, driven, and we played Ozfest with them.
Yeah.
It was like having little sisters on the road, with us. And so I can't wait to see them, and it's gonna be like a reunion.
I'm curious, man. You've played Glen Helen, just mentioned Ozfest. You were there a couple years ago with Incubus in 2018. When you think of Glen Helen, what's the show or the festival that stands out to you? Is there one Glen Helen moment for you?
Yeah, there's a few. The first 98 Ozfest, when we played the second stage, that was hard. The second Ozfest, where it was 99, and we played the main stage at 1 p.m. We played to a bunch of blue seats. I remember that because that sucked, right? That was the worst. I go, send me back to the second stage, please.
Where
You know,
everyone
I
was
don't
at.
want to be up here because there's nobody. It was like, because it's like the seats and then the lawn. And
Right.
so there was crowd in the lawn. So we were like playing to like yards away, you know, it's like, are those guys amped? You know, are they, are, you know, and so that, and then I remember one show and the RZA and I are really good friends from Wu-Tang, right? And it's the first time he saw us. I think it was in '05, maybe. I mean, it might have been an Ozfest. It might have been our own show. I don't remember. '06, maybe.
Six Ozfest.
'06, maybe. And we lost power before our set. Like the entire arena lost, or the shed lost power. So we had, and then like some kind of like kids got really rowdy. And I remember I was in the bus and it was my mom, my dad, the RZA, and all these other Wu Tangers. It was like a weird combo of people on my bus. And it was just this eerie vibe because we didn't know if we were going to play and we heard the crowd might riot. So
Oh,
I was,
wow.
it was, so I can't forget that. So that place holds dear to my heart because there's a lot of memories, as I just, told you a few of.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Ozfest '02, man, there's 50,000 people there. I mean, that 2018 show with you guys in Incubus, 45,000
that
people.
was nuts. Yeah, that was a really good one, man. That show felt so close to my heart because we love Incubus as well. We've been playing with those guys forever. And that was just there was an energy in that room, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that was special. You know, in talking a little System of a Down and kind of become the annual feature now, Sick New World 2025 we have to look forward to. Hopefully, maybe.
Mum's the word. I mean, you will see a sick new world. There
Okay.
will be a sick new world, but I don't know what's going on with it just yet.
Hoping
We'll see. I don't want to let any cats out of the bags yet. You know what I mean? There's a few bags out there, and there's a couple of cats in there, and I gotta put them in. I gotta keep them in there for a little while longer, until I'm allowed to speak about them. So, like 7 hours is also kind of a
yeah.
possibility with that. You never know. Let's see what the new year holds.
Looking forward to it, and I was just thinking, with Lincoln Park back now, I mean, that would be a hell of a band to be on Sick New World, just saying.
Just saying. Just it's a good thing good idea. Yeah, great. I'll mention it to the higher ups.
Yeah. Last thing I got for you on System of a Down, dude. Just kind of curious and looking back in the rear view mirror in 2025. Next year is going to be the 20th anniversary of Mezmerize, Hypnotize, a killer double album, and there's
Crazy.
killer double albums throughout the history of music. I'm curious, though, man. Do you have a preference out of the two albums? Do you favor one out of the two, out of Mesmerize or Hypnotize?
You know what's crazy? We wrote those albums together, and I don't listen to our albums. Like I did listen to the first three records, I should say, but at that time was when things were kind of not going our way, I should say. There was the hesitation had began, the whole animosity had started between certain people. And so I never really listened to the records the way a fan would listen to it. It was kind of
Hmm.
felt bad listening to those songs a little bit. It was this like bittersweet stuff happening in my head. So there's songs I love. I don't know which album they're on. It's like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that like I designed the way the albums go into each other, make it that thing. I did that because I wanted it to be really one record because the whole mixing of it there was issues, there was so many dilemmas that I don't know. That's my answer. I don't have a favorite. They both go down in history for me as a time in like a time in my life that changes were coming in, and it was bittersweet.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, one other last thing I got to get your help on an album debate. This one you should be able to participate on.
Talk to me.
We're an old school radio station. We do a feature called Mandatory Metallica every night at 10 p.m. I've been having this little Metallica debate, and I need to get your input on it.
Bring it.
Me and my buddy debating their greatest thrash metal album ever and landing on different sides. So I need you to settle it. Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets.
Those two?
If you had to pick one of those two,
You're not gonna hit Kill 'Em All?
too many covers on Kill 'Em All.
Okay.
So
Good argument. Oh man, you're killing me. You both got six. Okay. Personally, Master of Puppets was listened to more. Okay, but there's some bangers on Ride the Lightning that are undeniably some of the greatest metal songs ever written. Right, I could say that, right?
Oh, for sure.
And that's what that those two albums not only have inspired me, but I still listen to them. That's what they are, and that's where you know something's that good. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's so hard to compare. They're different beasts. Master to me is more commercial, which is completely not a commercial record, but to me is more because there's more memorable like
Yeah.
parts and songs because they have riffs like that are just like. But but Ride the Lightning had these like long and compositions, and that's what I mean. So did Master. See, it's like really hard, bro. But Ride was the first one that I was like, you have to sit and it was like a listener, like you have to listen, put those headphones on, and just freaking go into it, and just kind of like let it take you, like Fade to Black was one of those tear jerkers, like the tears are coming out, and I don't know what's going on, like that kind of stuff, like there's vibes in there, bro. There's vibes, and they created that without any real like future plans. They did
Oh.
that. They did that. It came out of them, and I love that.
I just thought Master sounded so much better.
It did. It was progress. It was next.
Sonically.
Yeah,
Sonically.
sonically. That's a gradual, production thing, but
Yeah.
it's sonically as production. I'm strictly speaking songs.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. So Ride would be your pick out of the two.
I don't know. I can't. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. This is a hard one because I've listened to them just as much. Ride has more, to me, this is personal, compositions where they're not catchy, they're just compositions. But then there's like catchier tunes, more memorable tunes on Master.
Yeah, I'd say Orion's a hell of a composition.
That was on the tip of my tongue, and I didn't want to say it. Orion is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
I
pushes
mean,
it.
that's like a masterpiece on that record.
That's what pushes it over the edge for me is Orion and
You know what?
Jink.
Now that you said that, I'm gonna agree with you on the Master thing because Orion is on Master, and I was, that's a debate that I'm gonna take that side because of the song Orion. That thing is ridiculous, and to know that humans wrote that and they're still out there writing and they're still out there performing, like all the power.
Yeah. And
You
then
know,
lastly, just to put a button on it, is there a song we can play for you on Mandatory Metallica? Would it be Orion? Something else come to mind?
play Orion, bro. That's the one that switched my whole thing around. So it swayed me to the side of Master. So Orion, I want to hear Orion right now.
Beautiful, man. We'll rock that one for you. Shavo, thank you so much. Always an honor to talk to you, and I cannot wait to see you out there at Glen Helen, man.
Thank you, brother. I can't wait. And we will do some smaller shows in Los Angeles if you guys are, interested in I can't wait to be doing that, like
Beautiful.
whiskey and stuff like that. I want to play like where we used to play and do that like free shows and $5, I want to bring all that back. So look out.
We will be on the lookout for that. We're in Inland Empire radio station, so Glen Helen, super close to home, but
Oh, hell yeah.
all over SoCal. So definitely be on the eye out for that and be rocking SHAV in the meantime. And thank you so much for the time, man. Honor.
Bring it on, brother. Thank you for having me. Peace.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.